Hello everybody, and welcome. If you're on this early, I say it all the time, you're probably watching the replay. So give me a hashtag replay and let me know where you're from. And I am going to just wait a little bit for everybody to join us. And you know what? I am going to move my tripod a little bit. It was not, I thought I had it all set up right. Sorry. I thought I had that done. So I hope everybody is enjoying this week. Hi, Kristen. See you popping on there. I hope everybody's enjoying it. I really wish I could get the comments to come up. If somebody knows, maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I wish we could. So welcome, and thank you for joining. I am just going to give a couple minutes before I get started. I'm excited. My office is finally done, so next time I do one of these series, I will be in my actual office that we had built at my house. So I'm really happy about that. So I'm going to get started and introduce myself. My name is Evelyn Knight. I am the host of the Childcare Business Coach podcast, the founder and CEO of Childcare Business Professionals, which is a business that helps childcare business owners and directors learn how to automate their systems, find success, get back their time, and really just create systems and processes that are duplicatable. I think that's the best way to sum up what I do is I help you learn how to duplicate yourself so that you can free yourself and not be tied down to your center all the time. I also help you really achieve that success where you're not struggling so much to pay the bills and just getting organized, right? So part of my membership program, I help people. One of my financial coaches actually does a weekly teaching. She actually just literally 5 minutes ago got done with her portion of our weekly teaching. So we offer a lot at Childcare Business Professionals. I do owner tracks, we do director tracks, and we even have financial coaching. So, financial teaching, I should say, not coaching, but I do have an affiliate program for that. I am also a Child Care Center owner, and my current center is licensed for 130 children. I have owned a total of 3 centers, and I started as an in-home provider. So I've pretty much done it all. I've been an infant toddler director, I've been a cook, I've been the van driver, I have done every job in the preschool setting. So I know what it's like to be in the trenches, and I'm still there at least a couple days a week. So welcome. If you're just joining us for the first time, I'm going to remind, and for those of you who've been on, I'm going to remind you to get your workbooks. If you don't, go into the Units tab in this series, and you will see there's a link where you can enter your email address, and it will provide the workbook for you. So the workbook is really meant to go along every day with this series, and it'll help guide you. It works as a guide to get you to really where you want to be and to make the time you've given me this week valuable. I know your time is valuable, and so is mine. So the one thing I do ask is when you're doing the series, do the work. It is, I put a lot of time and effort into creating this for you. I really want to make sure that centers in our industry keep going through what we're seeing right now. The COVID crisis is devastating us. So I've put a lot of time and energy into creating this series for you guys to show you how I've gotten my center to a point where it has a wait list of 300 people. And it wasn't always that way. I almost lost my center. If you've been watching me for a while, you might have heard the story, but I came so close to losing my center at one point that I literally had an eviction notice served to me at one point. And not only was I able to beat that, I'm 10 years later still in the same center, but I was able to transform that center and turn it into the profitable center that I have now. And that's what I'm here for, is to help you with that. I know what it feels like to be a desperate owner who's terrified to lose their business. I know what it feels like to just feel like you're not getting ahead, you're not making money. And so one of my goals is to help all of you out there not get into that position. If you can learn from my mistakes and I can show you how I overcame it, then I've served my purpose. That's pretty much what I'd like to do. And also getting your time back. I've also learned that you don't have to be living at your center. You don't have to be there 50 hours a week for it to be successful and for it to be functioning well. You can manage it when you have those proper tools. And this is a piece, right? The enrollment, the other workshop I do for you guys, the recession proofing your center, this Pillars to Enrollment, those are just a piece of the puzzle that I teach my members, and that what I'm trying to provide for everybody out there. So just a reminder that we're following a pillar every day. Day one's pillar was know your business and know what makes you unique and sets you apart. Day two is your online phone presence and your I'm sorry, you guys. I just got a message that just threw me. And then while I'm doing that, actually, since I'm sidetracked, I am going to go onto my laptop here. And I am going to try to get on Facebook to see if there's any comments. The comments, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but they are not coming through, so I can't see if you're participating. And I really like to try and interact with you guys. So I'm going to log on while... since I was off track anyway. So today what we're talking about is your professional persona, that face you put out into the world, kind of like your brand, right? But I'm going to take it a little bit more personal and make it more about you, right? Because we're talking about enrollment. When I do my recession proofing your childcare center business, I really dive in to culture and branding. This one I'm going to talk more about who's doing the tours, who is talking, who is that first line of communication. I'm going to really be talking about first impressions. That's what so it is kind of under that brand umbrella, but think of it in terms of first impressions. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about always be tour ready, right? And what that means, just getting ready for the tour. And how do you conduct the tour? What should your tour look like? I am putting a COVID twist on that since we can't do too many tours right now. We are doing a COVID twist on that. But COVID will pass. So we need to think and remember and keep consistent with that, right? So just keep in mind, COVID isn't going to last forever. So what can we do, now, but what are we going to have to revert to in the future? And Friday, we're going to talk about follow-up and retention, following up and retain. So that is one of the most important parts of this and pretty much one of the game changers here, right? And I have to say, on retention, you guys can get 100 tours this week and you can sign all of them up. But if you're not retaining the children you have, it's doing you no good. So we're going to talk about eliminating that revolving door. You don't want your center to be a revolving door. Once you get them in, you want to get them for life, right? Think of how many of our parents have multiple children. They may have their first baby today. I have parents that have been my customer for 10 years because they've had multiple children. So their oldest may now be 10, but they might have a 2-year-old also, right? So we want to keep that, plus that word of mouth marketing. So very important. Very, very, very important. So that is what we're doing. Saturday, I will be doing a question and answer session where you can jump on Zoom and chat with me. And for the Zoom call, that'll be on at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And in the meantime, don't hesitate to send me your questions so that I'm prepared. So for these live Q&As that I do, a lot of times people will just send me questions ahead of time. And if you can't make it, I will still answer your question. I record the call and I will post it to the group so that you can see it later. So if you can't make it, but you have a question you'd like me to address during that, feel free to message it to me or post it in the group, whatever you prefer. And if you post it in the group and you want me to address it on camera like this, let me know that's what you're doing it for. Otherwise, I usually just try and answer the questions immediately as they come in. So hopefully you guys are using your workbooks and those are going well for you, I hope. And let me get to mine. I wasn't on the right page. I apologize for that. I usually try to get that situated beforehand, but apparently my paperwork here was out of order, which if you guys know me, that is awful for me. So I do apologize for that. So today, again, we're going to be talking and use the workbook. You guys, I set it up really to facilitate and to get you guys thinking and to get you guys acting. I mean, that's really what I want you to do is I want you to take action, right? So that's why I created the workbook, is for you to take what I'm teaching you. I don't want it to go in one ear, out the other. I don't want you to think to yourself, ooh, those are great ideas. She's really given me good recommendations. And then 2 months from now, you haven't taken action on it. It's not really going to be helpful for you. And honestly, this is just a waste of time if you haven't taken action. But if you use the workbook, you will be more likely to take action, right? And to put this into place. So hopefully you guys were able to check out that phone script I posted for you guys yesterday, and hopefully that was helpful. Those are just some of the tools that I create. And I have something like that for everything in my center. Everything is pretty much automated. So it is pretty how I like to do things. And again, as you're joining, say hello. It does get really lonely on this side of the camera. So let's see. I'm seeing comments. Hi, Stephanie. I see then. Hi, Christina. Okay, and Christina will actually be on Friday. I think we said Christina with me. Christina actually does teach in my coaching program also. She does the financial coaching portion of it. So you guys will get to meet her on Friday, and she will be chatting with me. We'll be going through some stuff together. So let's get into the subject at hand today. And again, since I've lost my office this week, I'm a little bit disheveled and got to get my laptop going. It's a little bit crazy for me right now without my office. And again, I apologize. I thought I had this up already, but apparently it was not. Okay, so today we're talking about just being it's your professional persona. And the reason that I added this section here is not part of the original training, but I felt like there was something missing. And so I added this portion to the original enrollment training that I've done in the past, because this is such an important piece that you really need to think about. And part of it is because of first impressions, right? If you're off-putting in the beginning, you're going to lose that client immediately. So it's so very important to just always be very, very aware of your personal and your public image. So your center's image. If you're the person doing tours, if you're the owner or director doing tours, especially you guys, if you're the owner and you're not doing tours, you still have to have a professional persona, and I'll explain why. But if you're an owner and a director, you're the first line of contact. You always have to be aware of how you're presenting yourself, how you look, and that impression you're putting off. You don't want to be off-putting before the tour even starts, right? And when you think about how our centers work, our centers are normally in small towns, or you might be in a neighborhood area, right? But most of the people who are going to come to our center most of the time are going to be within that, 5 to 10 mile radius of where your center is. That's where they're going to be living. That's where they're going to be shopping. That's where they're going to be going to the park and hanging out. So that means that when you're going shopping, you're going to the park, and you're hanging out, when your company is being seen out in public, your teachers and everything, people are watching, right? They're always watching. So I really caution you to think about that public perception and really taking control of that and making sure that the perception that you're putting out there is a positive one from the get-go, right? And I'm going to tell you guys a story that really got me thinking about this. And this happened probably 12 years ago, but it's really, really stuck with me. So in my hometown here, and the center I currently own, I actually owned a separate center at the time, and the center I own now was my competition. I remember one day, and you guys, I live in Nevada, so casinos are normal around here, right? And they've got the best restaurants. So my husband and I were going to dinner one night at a casino, and I just remember seeing a lady sitting at one of the slot machines, smoking a cigarette with a drink, with the other center, which now I own, but at the time I did not own it, with their uniform on. And on her back was the logo, right? And at the time, that was my competition. And I remember overhearing another couple that was in line saying, oh my gosh, look at that lady. Is that the kind of person that the daycare hires? And it really struck me that, okay, this is Nevada, you guys. So seeing somebody sit at a slot machine with a drink isn't weird in Nevada, right? That's just kind of, it happens all the time here. And, you know, smoking the cigarette nowadays with vaping, it's kind of odd, but it wasn't like, this was 12 years ago, so that wasn't like too out of place. But it really, really got me thinking about that perception, right? That person is perceiving this woman as something different than she might be because she's at a casino, sitting at a slot machine, gambling, having a drink, and smoking a cigarette. Okay? The woman was probably in her 30s. She's old enough to do all that. And I would not have even, I mean, of course I noticed the logo because I knew that was my competition. But until I overheard that couple, it had never really dawned on me how that perception was coming through and how important it is for us to constantly be thinking about our image and just to always have that control. Ever since then, I do not like getting my staff any kind of logo wear. They can. I mean, sometimes I do, especially for my van drivers, and they love it, so we will buy them jackets and whatnot. But I train my staff specifically on, if you are out and about in my logo, then you better watch what you're doing. You better watch who you're being if you're wearing my logo and you're representing my company. I don't care if you're off, right? It could be your days off. But if you are wearing my logo in public, you better watch how you're representing my logo. And that is something I really do train on because of that incident. Ironically, about 2 weeks later, there was another incident. And again, same company, the one that I ended up taking over. And keep in mind, at the time I was their competition, right? And I went to the grocery store shopping, and there were these two women in a screaming match with each other. And one of them happened to be wearing a t-shirt with that company's logo. And I happened to know that she worked for the company. So again, I'm seeing within 2 weeks, 2 negative images of this company because of employees and how they were presenting themselves in the company's logo, right? I'm not the only one who witnessed these things. I might be the only one who saw both but I'm sure there's others. So this is why you guys have to be so conscious of how you're presenting yourself, right? How your staff is presenting themselves if they're wearing your logo. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of control about what our staff does on the weekends, you know, but we can ask them not to represent our company if they're going to be getting into verbal fights with a lady in line at Walmart. It just doesn't look good, right? And as owners, you guys, I'm going to call you out as an owner. We really have to watch our image. We are the face of our centers. If you're an owner, you are the face of your center. Your center is a persona of you. We personify it, right? It is a reflection of us. So unfortunately, as an owner, we have to be aware of that, and we always have to play a part, okay? And it's something that my boys absolutely hate about my life as an owner, especially in a small town. And I've owned in a couple different cities, but whichever city I'm in, if I'm an owner, I make sure I am presentable whenever I leave my house. I do not go grocery shopping in sweats and a t-shirt. I might go in my yoga, you know, if I was doing yoga, I might go like wearing my yoga stuff, but I'm not going to go in sweats and t-shirts. I always put makeup on. I always look presentable. I never know who I'm going to run into. And those first impressions are so important. Just those impressions, period, right? I might have just did a tour that's still on the fence. And if I look like a hot mess at the grocery store, the next day, what are they going to think? They're going to, people's minds jump to conclusions. Think about times where you're jumping to conclusions, right? People are generally pretty judgmental and they jump to conclusions. We all do it. We all are guilty of it. So you have to always keep that in mind. And I would really encourage directors the same thing. Remember, you are the face of your company. Therefore, you always have to be the face of your company, right? Especially if you're an owner, but directors, that goes for you too. We are the face of our company, and how we present ourselves is putting our company image. And you guys, there are times that I will literally drive an hour to go to the neighboring town to go grocery shopping because I just want to wear sweats. I want to put my hair in a baseball cap, right? But I don't want to be seen like that in my hometown where somebody's going to say, oh, look, there's that owner. Oh my gosh, she looks like a hot mess. Some days I am a hot mess, but it doesn't mean I want the world to see me that way, right? So I'm very conscious about it. I am very conscious. And if I really just don't want to drive an hour to go to the neighboring town and I am a hot mess that day, I might ask my husband to go to the store for me instead. Well, or both my boys have driver's license. It's awesome. I can ask either one of them to go. So just keep that in mind. Our public image is so important. The person that we're being in public is always being watched, right? And you are creating a persona. So, and that persona is a reflection of your child care center. We are a reflection of our center. So you've got to be conscious. What do you want people thinking of me, which is going to come out on my center, right? And I know that, I don't know, that's probably a reality check for some of you, and that might not be great, but it is really important. You've got to be able to present yourself. And back to the uniform thing, you guys, aprons are awesome. That is something I love using as uniforms. I am all for uniforms. I don't like using my company's t-shirts and logos because of what I was telling you earlier. The great thing about aprons is people don't go to the store wearing an apron. You don't have to worry about when your staff gets off on Friday night going to the bar wearing your apron, right? So just keep that in mind. That's something I actually really prefer to like actual uniforms, just because I just want to have control over the image that is being associated with my logo at all times. It's very, very important. Hi, Sue. Did you just hop on? I just saw your icon come up. So if you guys have any questions or any comments, I can actually see the chat in my laptop here. It's so nice to be able to see what you guys have to say. Feel free to comment and let me know. Give me an emoji so I know for sure I can see what you guys are trying to say here. And let me know you're there. Like I said, it does get lonely on this side of the camera. So the other thing I want you guys to really think about is something that I keep in mind all the time. And I believe it was Maya Angelou who said, people will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel, right? So I want you to really think about your center before the parents get there for the tour. You want to set the stage. You want to have the tone. You want to create an experience. So what I'm going to challenge you guys is tomorrow or the next time you go into your center, I want you to walk in and just take it in. I want you to look at your center with different eyes. We walk through our buildings every single day. We see the same thing every single day, and we stop seeing it. Okay, we stop seeing our center. So what I want to challenge you is walk in and really look at it. What do you see? What do you feel? That is the most important thing. What feeling do you get? Close your eyes. What do you smell? What do you hear? How much control do you have over that, right? Sometimes there's not much control over what we hear because our children hopefully are happy and they're going to be noisy, which is awesome if you hear this vibrant, happy center, right? But does it smell bad? Can you smell the diapers? Does it smell like those dirty, rotten mops? You know, it's one of my biggest pet peeves when mops have been sitting in water too long. What smells do you have? What feeling does your center give you? When you walk in, is it child friendly? Does your lobby scream children? This is a place for children that they're going to love and be happy with. If a parent walks in for the first time holding their child, is the child going to be wiggling out of their arms to get down because they just want to explore because your place is so interesting? One of the things I absolutely love when we're doing tours, which is, this just sounds terrible, but it's great, is when when parents have to leave my center and the child is kicking and screaming because they want to stay during a tour. That's awesome. Because if their child is so excited to be there that they are kicking and screaming and don't want to leave, that is what we want, right? How much more confident is a parent going to be bringing their child to us if during the tour they didn't want to leave? It's so much easier. It's already so hard for these parents to drop off their children to us, right? It's so hard for them to drop them with us and leave. But if the child seems like welcome from the moment they walk through that door and they are comfortable, it's going to be so much easier for the parents to make that decision, right? So I want you to really look at your environments. I want you to walk through your center, look at your classrooms, look at it from the eyes of the parents. I want you to think about it before the tour, right? Before it happens. I want you to look at it and look at the feeling that you get. I want you to think about Starbucks. When you walk into a Starbucks, right, what feeling do you get? Disneyland. I think Disney is the master at this. Once upon a time, my family had bought Six Flags season passes, and we literally went to Six Flags a couple times a month, right? And there was a Six Flags like 3 hours from my house. But that same year, we did one trip to Disneyland. And I'll never forget, my son at the time was 10 years old. And he said to me, "Mom, one trip to Disneyland is worth all of the trips we took last year to Six Flags." And I was just really curious about that. Like, really? So you would have rather just not, we probably went to Six Flags 20 times, right? Like, you would give up all 20 of those experiences just to be here this one trip. And he said, yeah, it's that much better. So why is that? Think about Disney. If you really think of the rides, they're not spectacular without the showmanship, right? It's that experience that Disney provides that makes Disney stand out. If you've never been to a Disneyland, it is just, you walk in and you're in Main Street and it just engulfs you and you feel like you've just been transported to another world, and their customer service is so stellar. They create an experience. They make you feel something that lasts forever. You get this feeling that every time when I think about it, I just think Disney. I'm sorry, did I lose you guys? It looks like my phone just decided to disconnect on me. So let me just check really quick. I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what happened there, but it literally just kicked me out of Facebook. How crazy. Christina, if you're on and you can hear me, will you text me and let me know? Nevada. Yes, it is Nevada, and it's been crazy out here. Looks like I am frozen. Let me see. I am not sure. And will you guys put in the chat if you can still hear and see me? Put it in the chat. Otherwise, I might just restart. Because I think I just... I'm sorry, you guys. My phone, I don't know what is going on, but I keep getting this screen that flashes that my phone is taking over my Wi-Fi or something. I've never seen the error message I've been getting. So, oops, I was frozen now. Thanks, Sue. Hopefully, am I back now, Sue? I've never had that happen. That was so crazy. Crazy error message is not going to be a great recording now. I'm so sorry. So I'm going to actually hurry up and wrap it up since I am losing internet. And what I might do is just finish recording it and then just posting the recording for you guys. But the message is pretty much the same. What I really want you guys to think about is the image that you're putting out into the world. I want you to think about what is people are perceiving of you personally, right? Because we are the ones doing the tour. And what are they perceiving of your center as a brand, right? I want to know what your brand is presenting out there and what people are perceiving. I really want you to be aware of that perception. So, so very important, whether we like it or not. Sorry, guys. So I'm going to end for today since my internet is just kind of weird, and I will add some other stuff for you guys. So have a great day.